Serious, what in your life has disappointed you beyond words? Trying to make friends. I understand I am not everyone's cup of tea, but it hurts being the outcast sometimes. I keep being friendly though. Realizing in my 20s that older people were just as immature and dishonorable as kids, only permanently so. Very scary moment. You grow up looking up to those people, and when the pedestal you put them on falls, you are looking down on them, still powerless to change the world. Yeah, I have to say this is it. As a kid, I gave the adults in my life a lot of passes for their behavior. I figured I was a kid and they acted that way for reasons I was just too young to understand. Now that I'm in a similar age range as they were when they hurt me, I realize they're just shit people who choose to be this way. It also doesn't help that your entire life you are getting told that those older deserve respect, are wiser than you. Teens are just in the stage where they think the world revolves around them and so on. They are just people, just as idiotic as any teen in your class, but they don't want you to know that. And a couple of them end up being your manager. I am 31 now and it still baffles me on a regular basis how immature some people are, even despite double my age. The amount of drama, for example, at my workplace between adults is so weird. Lol. I was at this company for 10 years and some of my best work was in the call center. As in, I may have been the best they've ever had. So they told me. So I got promoted to sales and laid off after 4 years. Looking to make a return, I applied in the call center. People were acting like it would be the biggest return since Jesus. I was ready to go and got a generic letter saying I wasn't qualified. Short answer: you were either too expensive, or you had someone who thought you made them look bad. Most likely the money thing though. Wow, I feel this. Granted, I was there for 5 years, but it was the first company that I truly loved working for and wanted to be there for a long time. I got promoted twice in 2 years. Then just fired. Politics because I was young in a high position. It felt like I got cheated on by my wife or something. So terrible. I honestly haven't recovered and that was 6 years ago. Haven't found a job, company that I feel the same way again. House prices. Really should have been buying up real estate in grade school. Lol. 2000s adults. Oh no, the economy. 2007. Oh no, the economy again. Not one adult acknowledged the growth that took place. Meanwhile today, 2016 to 2023, the housing market will crash any day now. My parents bought their house on land for $130K in 2001. They sold it for $330K in 2008, it is now worth over $1 million. Yeah, bought my house in 2020 for $180K. 6 months later the house across the street went for $230K and just last month the house next to it sold at $310K. It's insane and I'm sure the bubble will burst sooner rather than later. If it doesn't, I'm pretty much stuck in this house forever. Can sell it for way more than I bought, but these are starter homes now going for 2 to 3 times the price. I've been posting about this lately, my former best friend and neighbor. He's a single dad of 2 special needs kids. I did a lot to help him out much of last year. Late last fall he either broke into my house, or had someone else do it for him, and stole quite a bit of money from me. When I confronted him about this, he physically attacked me. After everything I did for him, it hurts so bad someone could simply turn on you. The beatdown he gave me didn't make me cry, I took it, but later on when I realized our friendship was a sham and he was only using me, I completely broke down. Probably unpopular, but personally true for me. Friendship. Growing up, my group of friends were pretty toxic. After high school, we naturally went our separate ways, but there was a bit of an emotional scar. In college, I found a new group of friends, who actually ended up being even worse and almost ruined my life. It has left me with such severe trust issues that I struggle to form meaningful friendships now. My mother. Over and over. I dreamed of my wedding day and having kids and living happily ever after. I didn't dream about him cheating and leaving me 3 weeks after our son was born. Butthole. Myself. How awful life after college is. In college you're always learning new things and meeting new people. You have lot of fun and friends, and sure, you work a crap job that pays squat and you have to study all the time, but you have this sense of accomplishment all the time and you have goals in front of you. Once you graduate, everyone moves to different cities. You get different jobs. It's way harder to make friends and time seems to go by at light speed. Additionally, any third space you want to hang out in cost a ton of money and no one wants to actually talk and become friends. If I'd known life got this lonely and boring, I'd have tried to savor every moment of college. Christ, I'm going through the same thing. It feels like the months pass by in seconds. My friends all have relationships and are moving away. Trying desperately to be friends with people at work and other places, yet nobody wants to be? I won't even mention trying to get into a romantic relationship. My siblings. Never expected them to turn on me and then try to prevent me from getting my share of the inheritance. My aunt did that to my dad. He can't bring himself to talk to her anymore. It was less about the money and more about the fact that she pulled that stunt. Parents and/or family. Betrayal and lies have kept me away for over a decade. They both recently died. I was there for both of their final breaths but didn't get the apology or explanation I asked for. I know I did everything I possibly could to fix things, so I have no guilt. Growing indoor plants. My older, and only, sister. Long story, lots of background. She's always been selfish, but charismatic, and I always had her back and was supportive of her. Turns out she lies about almost every scenario where she's been a butt, but has played up being the victim. Burnt bridges are a theme in her life. Jobs, friends, family. Don't do what she wants. She drops a match into a barrel of gasoline and sets that relationship on fire. My parents got old, needed care to live in their home. Mom with dementia, dad with Parkinson's. My sister tried to turn her hanging out at my parents' into a job as she was unemployed. Serial quitter. Never acknowledged that I was there to take mom and dad to appointments, help with dinners, and hire home care. She was a leech who fed off my parents for, at minimum, 2 to 3 years. Well, her whole life really, but that would make this story way too long. She kept my dad's bank card in her wallet, spent whatever whenever, basically bankrolled her life with my parents' money, all under the guise of caregiver. Didn't realize the extent until my dad died and my brother and I reviewed dad's accounts. She literally stole thousands of dollars from my dad, while his health was failing from Parkinson's. Not to mention she had him co-sign a mortgage while he was having Parkinson's hallucinations. Just despicable behavior, bordering on elder abuse. We moved mom to memory care. Sister wanted to be paid to help clear out the family home and sent us bill for shopping for new linens for mom. Me and my brother, co-executors of both mom and dad's wills and financial power of attorneys for both parents too, said no to both her demands. 4 of 5 siblings cleared out the house, got it ready for sale, no complaints about pitching in as we did it out of respect for our parents. Guess who didn't help? Guess who showed up when we weren't there and just took stuff? Guess who shrugged off the fact that her animals had destroyed the basement carpet by peeing on it? Sister wrote up a bogus letter stating my mom wanted to compensate her for losing out on $2,000 that she was expecting for cleaning out the house, getting it sale ready. Got mom to sign the letter despite the fact that mom has dementia, had not handled any financial transactions for years, and would sign anything a child of hers were to put in front of her. Sister knew anything about money should have gone to the 2 power of attorneys. That action also got a big nope. Many months of nasty, insult-riddled emails later, brother and I get a registered letter stating we could only talk to sister through her lawyer. Like what? We ignored her insulting emails because there was no point in responding and then are officially told we can't contact her directly? But she keeps sending nasty emails directly? Just really nutty logic, my conclusion. Classic signs of narcissism. So yeah, my narcissistic big sister who was kinda my hero growing up has disappointed me beyond words. Doubt I'll ever speak to her again. Definitely won't trust her ever again. We expect a battle when mom passes and it's time for sister to collect what she's entitled to. At this point, brother and I are almost looking forward to a battle with her. We've got all the receipts. Honestly, would rather just forget she exists. A best friend ghosting you. A genuine connection and friendship you thought would be in your life for years and years to come, only to find out they're not as great of a friend or person you thought they were, or that you were to them. Disappointing beyond words. How quickly people turned on each other out of confusion and fear over the last 3 years. Becoming an adult and realizing that life is incredibly difficult for the middle class. I know the lower class has it the worst, but the American government is blatantly trying to prevent the middle class from moving up. There are plenty of programs to help people in poverty, but the middle class is always stuck paying a little too much for everything, so they stay where they are financially. By the time I reached 41, I noticed an alarming amount of people just break down and ultimately disappoint you. In your 50s, people retreat to their caves and turn their backs on friendships. If you weren't tight with them, they drift away. As a young adult, I had no idea older people would march defeated into isolation and loneliness. I wonder what the next level of disappointment the 60s will bring. My wife decided that she no longer wanted to be married, not necessarily to me, just at all. She told me this 3 weeks after she left without an explanation at the time. We had just bought a house. When I was a teenager in the 80s, struggling down to the library to do the research for my homework, I dreamed of a day where everyone would be able to access libraries from a terminal in their homes. They would have unlimited, free access to all the information and knowledge they need. Call me a former optimist, but there was a time when for some reason I thought the Bezoses and Zuckerbergs of the world were going to use their brains and wealth to do good things for the world. Instead, they are contributing to its demise. Finding out my wife was cheating and lying about pretty much everything, and my dad dying. All in the space of a few months. I'm a shell of a man, but keep the good side out and keep going for my kids. Gestures broadly. Honestly, I think life is more about making peace with your failures than it is about racking up accomplishments. Most of us are never going to do the amazing things we hoped for as children. It's like the Rolling Stones said, you don't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes, you just might find, you get what you need. Everything. When I was young, I thought the world would become a better place and technology would help make things wonderful. Now it's just even more hateful and violent. Can hardly go anywhere without hearing some bigoted rank about something or other. People are hurting each other everywhere, even children. It's gross. I hate it. Around 2 or 3 weeks ago, I gave up my job and we gave up our home to fly across country to save my daughter and grandson from her abusive boyfriend. When we arrived, he was in jail for choking her. He's left bruises on my grandson many times. He's tortured both of them. There's so much bad. And she's 4 months pregnant, and until we got there she hadn't had any prenatal care because he wouldn't let her go. We were either going to move in with her or we'd all go back to our state and get going again. She promised to provide the transportation for jobs if we stayed or to get back home, as we spent almost everything to get there. Well, he was released with a no-contact order. Didn't matter. He started whispering in her ear. Within a week he was back in the house, and within a couple days he kicked us out in the cold with no money. My daughter just stood there and let him as she was signing custody papers for a friend of the family. This woman is a licensed foster parent. She just loves my grandson and avoided putting him in the system by doing it that way, to take her son. So yeah, she basically let her abuser kick everyone that actually loves and cares about her out. She gave up her son for this piece of crap. It's been 5 days. We're still stuck in this state selling stuff we've had stored for retirement to get back home. I'm just completely and utterly disappointed. I used to text with her all day every day. Not talking to her now. Except I demand she sends me a text twice a day so I know she's alive, and if I don't hear from her I'll call the police to do a well check. That's absolutely the only thing I can do. Disappointed, devastated, and really angry. You can be anything spiel schools hammer into you from kindergarten to high school doesn't mean anything whatsoever. My mother for never apologizing for how she let my stepdad abuse me daily for 14 years. I'm 43 now.